we on? Just kidding, scared ya. Oh yeah, coffee's running out. Gonna have to get some more. Because when my coffee runs out, I have to go get some more Brugger's coffee. Because it makes me more hyper and crazy. So we can just math. Woohoo! January 2011. This is the third video of this series. This is going to be the parts 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, all those hard, what the heck were they thinking questions. I don't know what. I can do them. You can do them. Practice. Don't cheat. I know I say that in every video, but I want to make sure I drive home the point that if you're a cheater, you're going nowhere in life. Just keep practicing this phrase if you like to cheat. Sir, ma'am, would you like fries with your burger? Would you like to supersize that? And then go get in your Pinto, which is a really crappy car. Ooh, nobody has Pintos anymore. That used to be the mock vehicle of the world of the day. Get in your crappy car, go home to your crappy life, or make something of yourself. Study, work hard, achieve. I have no idea what page we're on. Ooh, look at that, I was close. All right, ooh, I was closer. Oh, page 11. We're on page 11. So, no, not page 11, we're on page 12. Page 12, yeah, problem 28, there it is. Section 2. Wow, this is a 2-point question. Wow, this at one point I thought it was a 4-point question. Must turn out to be a pretty easy question. All right, so let's go. Let's get started. Hopefully my pen's going to work. All right, so what we got here is we got a 16 and a 64. And you guys are smart enough to realize that in order for us to work with these, they have to be the same base. You've seen these problems probably a number of times. Maybe you haven't seen them in a while, but you have at one point. So 16 is 2 to the 4th. That would be 2, 4, 6, not 2, 4, 8, 16. Don't go 2, 4, 6. That's crazy. 2 to the 4th. 32, 64. Okay, so 64 is 2 to the 6th. All right, and then don't forget the rest of the exponents. The rest of the exponent was 2x plus 3 and x plus 2. So once the bases are the same, I can wipe those out, set the exponents equal to each other. Let's just distribute now. 8x plus 12 equals 6x plus 12. Well, this is an annoying question. I forgot how annoying this question was. Because when I subtract 12 and subtract 12, well, let's not do that because you're going to be really messed up. Let's just do this. I'll come back to that. I'm going to subtract 6x, and I hated this question. 2x plus 12 equals 12. They made this a 2-point question just to mess with you. There are people in New York State that just cannot stand you because you get this. 2x equals 0, and you divide by 2, and you divide by 2, and you get x equals what? I don't know. I must have done it wrong. X equals 0. Wait a second. That can't be what's going on. Check your answer. Relax. Just check your answer. 16 raised. Oops, I forgot to store my value. Let's do 0, stow it into x, and hit enter. And then we'll do 16 raised. What was that? 2x plus 3? 2x plus 3. Hit enter. 4096. Okay. 64 raised to the x plus 2. Oh, 4096. Oh, whew, got it right. All right. Then go back. Be happy. Be mad at those people in New York State that just don't like you. They're like, let's see. How could I mess with kids this year? Oh, yeah. Then we'll put this question on. Another tough question. And it's not a hard question. It just messes with kids. So let's pay attention. Watch this. What we want to do is we're going to convert from radians to degrees. Now normally you're used to seeing radians like 3 pi over 4. Convert that to degrees. I'm just going to multiply by 180 over pi because my teacher told me to get rid of the pi's because the pi's have to go, and then I get something. Right? So, yeah, that's the conversion. In order to convert from radians to degrees, you have to use 180 over pi. So, and that doesn't matter what I give you as far as radians go, you are going to multiply by 180 over pi. That's the trick. So what they did was they gave you 2.5 radians. we're going to multiply by 180 over pi. And that's it. You're going to push that into your calculator. You see, just come over to your calculator, which that isn't it, and you say, okay, what is 2.5 times, and we'll do control division, 180 over pi. 143.239. So 143.239. Why am I here? That's not where I want to be. 143.239, rounded to the nearest tenth of a degree, 143.2 degrees. Done. Over. For a given set of rectangles, the length is inversely proportional to the width. All right, so if you say varies inversely or inversely proportional, we're going to do an x times y equals x times y every time this varies inversely stuff. So if the length is 12 and the width is 6, so 12 times 6 is going to equal to x times 9, because that's the next one they give us. Well, this is 72 equals 9x, so x equals 8. I always use the xy equals xy for the varies inversely. All right, done, over with. I'm not really sure why these questions are actually on here. This is like testing, can you use your calculator? This is a can you use your calculator question. Yes, I can use my calculator. So I come over to my calculator. Now I'm going to get rid of all the crap that's on there because it's so much garbage. It's driving me nuts. And I'm just going to type this in. Now, for those of us using this calculator, I don't know where this is on the 84. I've forgotten. I used to know. But on this calculator, it's right here. So just hit enter. And what are we using? N. So we use N1. What is this? N cubed plus, oops, you gotta get out of that mode. Plus 1. See how it's a little bit different? You're not in an exponent. If you put that plus 1 up there, you'd be in an exponent mode and you'd be messed up. And a 5 goes out here, and of course I forgot my 10 plus. There was a lot of kids that forgot this 10 plus, and when they got it, they got their answer. They ended up getting 230. Okay, but the answer is 240. Clearly, it's 10 plus this. Now, I don't know what work you have to show here for this. This is an interesting question because normally they say, and if you go back to the notes, I'll read it to you. Each correct answer are 2 points. Should answers be written in, for questions in this part, a correct numerical answer with no work shown will only receive 1 credit. So, I guess if you just write 240 used calculator, I guess, I don't know what they gave that year. I don't remember. So maybe we need to show work. So we'll do 10 plus, and let's see. I plug in 1, so that's 1 cubed minus 1. Well, that just goes away. That's 0. Plus 2 cubed minus 1. Plus 3 cubed minus 1. Plus 4 cubed minus 1 plus 5 cubed minus 1. So this is 10 plus 7 plus 26 plus 63 plus 124. And if you add all those up, I hope I did a good enough job in adding them up to 240. Interesting question. Next. All right. Domain and range. Remember this, kids. Domain, range, x, y, alphabetical. So the domains are the x values. So the leftmost x value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be negative 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So domain is -5, comma 8, or -5 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 8. Done. Now the range is the lowest y value, which is this, 1 to -3, and the highest y value, which is up here, which is 2. Not these points. You don't use these points because this is not the highest. I only used them left and right because they were the furthest left and the furthest right. I didn't use them for the other ones because, well, while this is the furthest down, this is not the furthest up. So the range is from -3 to +2. So the range we can use -3 to 2, or -3 less than or equal to y less than or equal to 2. Done. All right, so let's see what we got here. Oops. So what I'm going to do at this problem is I'm not going to try to do all the simplifying radicals first. What I'm going to do is remember that since these are both under the radical, I could just write it like this. 108 x to the 5th y to the 8th all over 6x y to the 5th. And realize, okay, they're both under the radical, so I can simplify that. Let's see, 6 goes into 108. I think it's 18. 108 divided by 6. 18, yes. So this becomes, let's see, let me grab a different pen. This x cancels with one of these, gives me 4, and 5 of these go and gives me 3. So there's, and then 6 goes into here, 18. So I no longer have anything in the denominator. So I have 18 x to the 4th y cubed. And now I'm going to simplify this. So I'm going to write it as 9 times 2 times x to the 4th, because x to the 4th is a perfect square, times y squared times y, because y squared is a perfect square. And then I'll come through and I'll say, okay, the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of x to the 4th is x squared, and the square root of y squared is y. So my final answer is 3x squared y square roots of 2y. That's all she wrote, kids. Oh, by the way, you could always check your answer. I'm not going to do this, but because it'll take too much time, but you could plug a number in for x, plug a number in for y, and then type in the original, and then type in what you have, and you will should get the same result. So we're going to assume the ages of these kids are normally distributed, which just means we get to use our formula sheet down here. So let me grab that real quick. We're going to use this, our standard normal curve. And let's see. With a mean of 19 years and a standard deviation of 1 year. So what we have here, let me draw a quick sketch, is an x bar of 19 years and a standard deviation of 1 year. So this is 1 year. So that goes down to 18, and 1 year goes up to 20. So the question says, to the nearest integer, find the percentage of first-year college students are between the ages of 18 and 20. That's one standard deviation to the left, one standard deviation to the right. And so I'm going to add all of these up. 15, 19.1, 19.1, and 15. And if I add all those up, I get 68.2%. Or 68% because it said round to the nearest integer. So the next question says, to the nearest integer, find the percentage of first-year college students who are 20 years old or older. So what I want to do is go back here and say, okay, how many are older than one standard deviation? So that's 9.2, 4.4, 1.7. So I got to add all those up. So let me go back and forth. 9.2, 4.4, 1.7, 0.5, and I think the last one's 0.1, right? 0.1. So if I add all this up, I'm not going to do that in my calculator. So now I got to go over here. 9.2 plus 4.4 plus 1.7 plus 0.5 plus 0.1 equals 15.9%. This equals 15.9%, but the question says find the nearest integer, so my answer is 16%. Finished. Wow, that was a simple question. So we did this actually. I know I did this in class, and I know that most kids just did not get this one right. So you got to play around with this one. I don't know why they put this on there. Sine squared A plus cosine squared A equals 1. I mean, you're going to do something that doesn't even like why would anybody think of that? So what we want to do is we end up wanting to have 1 here and tangent here. Well, if I remember, tangent is sine over cosine. And this is secant. Secant is 1 over cosine. So if I really want 1 over cosine and I've got a 1 here, why don't I just divide by, in this case, cosine squared theta, or A. Well, I'm going to divide this by cosine squared A. I got to divide this by cosine squared A. Oh, look, if I do that, I get 1. And if I divide that by cosine squared A, I have to divide everything by cosine squared A. And I divide this by cosine squared A. So this gives me 1. This gives me secant squared A. And this is tangent squared A. And believe it or not, that's all you had to do. It's kind of a dumb question. Most kids did not get that right. So we want to write this binomial expansion. Now we're to 4-point question, so now we got more work to do in its most simplest form. So what we need to do is, you can either do Pascal's triangle, which I will do over here. That's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 4, 6, 4, 1, or 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. Or you can do it the way I like to do it. I really don't like Pascal's triangle too much. I like to do it with combinations because we've done enough with them. So I like to do 5, choose 0, 5, choose 1, 5, choose 2, 5, choose 3, 5, choose 4, and 5, choose 5. Now someone might say, that's a lot of stuff to put in your calculator. Well, not really, because you know it ends in a 1 and starts with a 1. You know the next one's always a 5 and a 5. And then there's only 2 left, so those match. And if you come over to your calculator, that's really the only thing you have to do is menu, probability, combinations. And then if you do 5, 2, you get 10. And so, okay, this is 10 and this is 10. All right, so next to these, you're going to put parentheses. And in this first one goes 2x. Told you, it's a 4-point question. You got to do some work. These questions are sort of a pain. -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, -1. And then exponents. This one goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Don't need the 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Don't need the 0. So, this one is 1 times 2 to the 5th. If I just type all that in my calculator, I get 32x to the 5th. Now the next one I'm going to actually put in. So I get 5, 2 to the 4th times -1. So I'll go into my calculator. I'm going to do 5, parenthesis, 2, raised to the 4th, parenthesis, oops, forgot to get out of my parenthesis mode, times 1. Enter. Oh, negative 80. So I'll come back over. So this is going to be negative 80x. Well, the only thing I got here is x to the 4th. So x to the 4th. Now I'm going to type this next one in. Well, that's cool. I'll just hit the up arrow. Well, no, it's 10 parenthesis 2 parenthesis raised to the 3rd parenthesis negative 1 squared. 80. So plus 80x cubed. The next one's going to be minus. And so if you just keep going through this, the next one will be minus 40x squared plus 10x minus 1. Because negative 1 to the 5th is just negative 1. This gives me 5 times 2 times, and then this is just a positive 1. And then 2 squared is 4. 4 times 10 is 40. So, and then there's your answer. All right, next question. Are we getting close? 37. I got 3 left. Find the measure of the missing angles and side of this triangle. So we got to draw a triangle ABC. And so we're probably going to be using either the law of cosines or the law of sines. Anytime we're dealing with these triangle questions that are not right triangles, there's like a 99% chance you're going to be using one of those. So angle A is 32. Little a is 12. B is 10. That's all we're given. So we're going to find B. So what we have is angle side side. Angle side side is the law of sines. We're going to use the law of sines here. Normally when you have two sides, you want to use the law of cosines. But in this case, angle side side, that's when you're swearing. Don't look at that. You have to use the law of sines. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 over the sine of B is equal to 12 over the sine of C. So we get 12 times sine of B, because we're cross multiplying, is equal to 10 times sine of C. Now, I've asked this every time I do these videos. We're going to be looking for an angle. We're looking for angle B. Anytime you are looking for an angle, you are going to end up doing inverse sine. Why do I have C here? All right, something's messed up. I still stopped talking. I have one of these angles. Oh, I did 12 over sine C. I don't know why I took 12 over sine C. Let me go back. Sorry, kids. Somebody probably caught my mistake. 12 over, remember, we're going to be doing them over this, right? So 12 over sine of 32. Can't have two missing things. That doesn't make any sense. So 10 times sine of 32 is equal to 12 times sine of B. So what we're going to be looking for is the angle B. So we're going to end up doing inverse trig. So we're going to divide by 12. So these go, these go. So I'm going to put this in my calculator, and then I'm going to end up taking the inverse sine of it so that I can figure out what B is equal to. So I come over to my calculator, and I go, okay, that's not my calculator, and I'm going to clear all this crap out. It's driving me crazy. All right, so control division. Start with a fraction so you don't make mistakes. 10, which I think I just did. Nope. Sine 32 all over 12. So, and then we're going to take the inverse sine of that. So trig inverse sine of that mass. And you get 26.205. So B equals 26.205. Now you should show your work. It's set to the nearest tenth, so B is equal to 26.2. So, what do I do now? Oh, so now I want to figure out what C is equal to. So C then is equal to angle C is equal to 180 minus 32 minus 26.2. Wait a second, though. I could have another angle here. Let's test. I wonder what 180 minus 26.2 is. Well, that's going to be somewhere around 154. blah, blah, blah. And if I add on my original 32, that would be over. So the only possible choice for B is 26.2. Remember, you got to test for different angles, too. That law of sines is a pain in the neck. So if I take 180 and I subtract off, so 180 minus this answer minus 32. Actually, I really shouldn't be subtracting off that because it said to the nearest tenth. Enter 121.8. So angle C equals 121.8. Well, now I can find side C. Wow, that's a lot of work for this problem. So now I'm going to go find side C. So I want to find C. So I can do the same thing. I can just do law of sines again. So C over the sine of 121.8 is equal to 12 over the sine of 32. So I get 12 times sine of 121.8 is equal to, now wait a second, we got a kind of an issue here, and I want to go back to my calculator because this is going to give me a rounded answer. This is going to give me a rounded answer, and I don't want to round until the very end, and I'm not sure if this test was trying to trick us or not. So what I really should do is figure out what C is unrounded. So I'm going to do 180 minus 32 minus this mess. I want to figure out what C is unrounded. So it's 121.79. I'm going to write that over here. 121.79 402.708 402.708. So I should be able to use that. So let me use that instead. I hate using rounded things to try to find answers because oftentimes it gives me a little bit less accurate of a number. So 0.79402.708 is equal to C times sine of 32. So I'm just going to divide by sine of 32. All right, so here we go. Go back to the calculator. I'm going to take the sine. I'm going to take, wait, what are we going to take in? 12 times sine of this angle. So 12 times the sine, I'm not retyping that, of that thing, divided by the sine of 32. And I get 19.240247. Round to the nearest decimal, I get C equals 19.2. Hopefully that's the right answer. Moving on. The probability that Stormwell Sluggers will win a baseball game is 2/3. Determine the probability to the nearest tenth. So you got to be careful with these. Sometimes they give you one and they ask you about another, and so you got to be really careful with that. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do as soon as I see a problem like that is I'm going to say, okay, the probability that they win is 2/3. Therefore, the probability that they lose is 1/3. So then I'm going to grab my highlighter and it says, find the nearest thousandth. Probably will win at least 6 of the next 8 games. So we're going to win. So winning is what we want. Winning! Somebody said that at one point. So that means if I'm going to win, I can win 6, 7, or 8 games. If I win 6, I'm at least 6. 7 is perfect. 8 is the best. So I'm going to take 8, choose 6. That would be 6 wins. Or 8, choose 7. That would be 7 wins. Or 8, choose 8. That would be all 8 wins. Now remember, in the first set of parentheses, we want what we want to happen. What we want to happen is we win. So in these parentheses goes 2/3. Remember, whatever here is what you want to happen. Whatever goes over here is the other thing that could happen, and that in this case is lose. This will always go here, so 6, 7, 8. And then these two have to add up to 8. So this is a 2, this is a 1, and this is a 0. So what you want to do is you want to type all this in your calculator. Come over here and we'll go, I'll show you the easy way to do this one, or the easier way. First of all, let's get rid of all the crap that's in our screen. Just get a fresh screen. So go into menu, probability, and combinations. And the first one we're doing is 8, 6. Now we're going to type this all in at one time. So times, parentheses, control division, 2 over 3, raised to the 6th, parentheses, control division. Now the hard part is doing this the first time. 1 over 3 squared. So remember, those have to add up to 8. That has to add up. That has to add up to 8. This has to match this. I hit enter. I'm going to get some crazy decimal. Ow. So I don't get a decimal. And so this crazy calculator. So we'll put an enter. And all you got to do to get a decimal is just type in a decimal. And so you get 0.273. Make sure my answer's right. Oh, I didn't read. Maybe they want the exact value. Oh, nearest thousands. So 0.273129. 0.273129. 129. That should be enough because I only want the thousands place. So we'll just, you want to get plenty of decimals. So now I don't want to type that in again. So we'll hit enter. And we're going to change this to a 1. Going to change this to a 7. Don't forget to change everything. And this to a 7. Hit enter. Get another damn decimal. Darn decimal. Sorry for those of you who are offended. I apologize. 0.15607. 0.1560737. Now, just so you know, I'm never going to type these in. This is just showing my work. So, you'll see what I'm going to do in a second. Try to make my life easier. Enter. Change this to a 0. Yes, I will change it to a 0. It's no big deal. I could just get rid of it if I wanted to, but it's easier just to change it to a 0. Change this to an 8. And change this to an 8. And I hit enter, and I got this annoying thing again. By the way, if they wanted the exact answer, just add up all those fractions. So 0.0390, so 0.0390, 1844. 1844. So now I'm going to really be creative. I'm going to come here and I'm going to say enter, plus, enter, plus. See how I'm not going to type those all in? I'm going to go find, let's see, I want to find the one that says 2.27 something. There it is. Enter. So I got them all. I hit enter, and I get 0.46822. So 0.48622. Is that right? 0.46. See? See how easy it is to make a mistake? And I just lost 25% on that stupid problem because I didn't write down what was on my thing. So 0.468. 46822. Rounded to the nearest thousands place would be 0.468. All right, we got one left, kids. One left, and we are all finished. Oh man, are they crazy or what? Look at this problem. This problem is redunculous. It's actually really easy. Lots of words. It's kind of scary. It's all these words. I don't know what to do. I get so upset. 47 words for 6 points. All right, kid, let's do this. So the question says is, let's just take this equation. I gotta find my pen. Lost my pen. Lost my pen. I don't know why I always lose my pen. There it is. Got it back. All right, so my equation, part A. So let's write this equation. A natural log of capital T minus T sub 0 is equal to negative KT plus 4.718. Somebody's job was to come up with this crazy problem. So, the temperature T of a given cup of hot chocolate after it's been cooling for T minutes can best be described. So, where T sub 0 is the room temperature. So in this case, my room temperature, we don't know, it was 150. Oh, wait. So the question says T0 is the temperature of the room. And so let's, oh, I'm sorry. So I got to erase. I didn't mean to put that in there. So here we go. So 68 is the temperature of the room. That's T0. This is my time T, and this is the temperature of my coffee, which is capital T. So I'm going to do 168. What am I doing that for? It's 150. 150 minus 68 equals negative K times 3 plus 4.718. So it looked complicated. This you just type in. You're going to type this in, and we're going to end up subtracting 4.718. So I'll go over to my calculator, and I'm going to do, okay, get rid of all this crap. Nice fresh screen. I go natural log. I get a parenthesis already. 150 minus 68. I'll hit enter. And then I want to subtract off that 4 points. So I'm going to subtract off 4.718, and I get negative 0.3112. So I come back over here and I said, okay, negative 0.3112, don't round, 807. What happened there? I don't know where that came from. So negative point, I got to get rid of that. I don't know what it is. Negative 0.3112, 8075, 8075, that's good enough, is equal to negative K times 3. So divide by 3 and divide by 3. So I come back over here. Well, really what I have here is, I apologize here. This is really, and I remember kids doing this. I should have forewarned you. Negative, this really what I have here is negative 3K. So I'm going to divide by negative 3. So come back over here. I hit divide by negative 3, and I get 0.103. 10376. So 0.10376 is equal to K. It wants it rounded to the nearest thousandths place. So I get 0.1. So K is equal to 0.104. So now I got to rewrite this equation. So it's the natural log of T minus T0 equals 0.104 T plus 4.718. And they want us to figure out the time it will take for the thing. No, they're going to give us T equals 10 minutes. And they want us to sign. It has been using K, find the temperature of the cup. So what we want to do is after 10 minutes, we want to find out what the temperature is in this room. So what I have here is the natural log of T, which what we're going to be looking for, minus 68, because that's the room temperature, is equal to, oh, I apologize. I forgot. It's negative. The formula is negative KT. Well, K is negative 1.0. So negative 0.104 times 10 plus 4.718. So all of that stuff has to be typed into my calculator. So I do negative 0.104 times 10 plus 4.718 equals 3.678. So what I get is the natural log of, I don't put ln, T minus 68 equals 3.678. Now here comes the hard part. Here's the part that you have to remember. In order to solve this, what you have to do is remember that there's really an e here. There's really a base e there. So it's all about the base. So what you're going to do is rewrite the base e, and these two are going to switch. E to the 3.678 is equal to t minus 68. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out what e to the 3.678 is. So e raised to the, oops, didn't need the second raised to it, already did it for us. Crapoli. Alright, so e, it already does the exponent for us, raised to the 3.678, enter. And then we're going to add 68. So 107 something. So this was, I forgot what that gave me, 39.567. So 39.567 is equal to t minus 68. Add 68, and I get the answer is t equals 107.567. Round to the nearest degree, I get 108 degrees. Woo! We're finished. And that's all she wrote for that problem. All right, kids, we're done. Again, if you get 100 on the Regents, let me know. Email me, kenkrause@gmail.com. Or, yes, leave it in the show notes, or just leave a comment. Hey, I got 100. If you like what you see, subscribe. Trying to get to 500 subscribers. Thanks for coming. Enjoy. Work hard. Work hard. Summer's coming. Summer is coming. Bye, guys. Not yet, though.